Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen, and welcome to Heart of the Home. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a delicious recipe. It's Brunswick stew. It's great for the winter. I know there's some debate across the country as to where it originated, but I'm just going to show you what I think is a simple recipe. It's my favorite, and it's easy peasy. We're going to be using chicken today, but we're going to start with some chicken broth. We're going to put in about 2 quarts of chicken broth. What I love about this recipe is you could buy a pre-bought rotisserie chicken from your grocery store and just pull the meat off the bone and chop it up. And that's pretty much what I've done here. I've got about 1 pound of chicken to 2 quarts of chicken broth. We're going to put our chicken in the broth, already chopped up. You know, in the cooking world, mise en place means everything in its place. Any kind of prep that you can do ahead will certainly be a time saver for you. So we did 1 pound of chicken here into chicken broth. And now I have some onion. The recipe calls for about 1 cup or so. You know, I love to talk to people about measurements. You don't see a cup measure here on my tray. But if you hold, you know, basically a handful, that's about 1 cup. So we've got about 1 cup or so of onion in there, maybe a little bit more. And then I have some frozen diced potatoes. These are great. They're already diced for you in the grocery store. And we have about 1 quart of those. We're going to put those in our stew. And then I have some frozen lima beans. And I'm sitting here thinking my pot might be too small. We'll see. And I have 1 quart of frozen corn. And I do choose frozen vegetables over canned vegetables because the frozen vegetables usually don't have any sodium in them, whereas your canned vegetables do. And sodium can sometimes be our enemy. So we want to be careful there. Now typically I would add 1 quart of tomatoes. This is going to be a very full pot. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some spices. We're going to let it come to a boil. And it needs to simmer for a little while before we actually eat it. This is also one of those things that's really better left over. But to this, we're going to actually add about 2½ tablespoons of sugar. Keep in mind that the recipe you see online is for twice as much. I cut this down for filming purposes. So we got about 2½ tablespoons of sugar. We want some kosher salt to taste. That's kind of a hard thing. You might like more salt, you might like less salt. That's up to you. But if you've cooked for a while, you pretty much know what to put in it. So I usually put about half as much pepper as I do salt. And then I've got some crushed red pepper here, or cayenne pepper. I'm not going to add all of this. That would be far too much. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit over the top. And that's pretty much it. We're going to stir this up. We're going to let it come to a boil for about 1/2 hour or so, and then we'll taste it. I hope you'll stay with us. All right, so we're back with our Brunswick stew, and we've let it cook for about 1/2 hour or so. It can go longer. It's totally fine. I wouldn't worry about it. You do certainly want to let it cool off before you taste it, but this is one of those things that's always better the next day for leftovers. But we're going to go ahead and serve some here. Let's stir it up a little bit. And at the beginning we talked about vegetables, and I chose to use frozen vegetables. You do not have to thaw them. It's totally fine to leave them frozen. It's almost even a little bit better for the texture of the broth. So we're going to spoon this into our bowl. Smells absolutely delicious. And there you have it, a very easy recipe for Brunswick stew. Great for the winter on these cold nights and everything. Oh, and by the way, this freezes really, really well. So make it in a bulk quantity and put yourself 1 quart or 2 in the freezer. I'm Tammy Brawley with the Green Kitchen. Join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.